On this episode of Ranked and Reviewed, we're finally at the finish line with Jurassic World Dominion.
Blue had a baby. That's impossible.
Hey, girl.
You look just like your mother.
I promise you, I am gonna get her back.
Genetic power has now been unleashed.
We made a terrible mistake.
The doomsday clock might be about out of time.
If our world's gonna survive, what matters is what we do now.
I could use your expertise.
You coming or what?
A baby raptor? I made a promise we would bring her home.
You made a promise to a dinosaur.
Yeah. What?
Everybody hold on to somebody. That can't be right. What is that?
Biggest carnivore the world has ever seen.
Run!
See? Not so bad.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Ranked and Reviewed. I am your host, TOMYE West, and joining me as always is my co-host, ALANNIS Maximus.
Greetings.
And today, we're here at the finish line for our Jurassic Park / World Ranked and Reviewed series, where we are reviewing the final installment in this franchise, apparently, Jurassic World Dominion. And before we get to that, before we get to our thoughts and the overview of this movie, please make sure you subscribe, you like, you share, and you possibly leave us a comment. It makes us feel good. It adds to our analytics, and it should make you feel good. Am I right, Alan?
It should. It should warm your heart knowing that you have helped us because we like you.
We do. We do. And if you haven't, please go check out our Super Mario Brothers 1993 review, which was launched last night. It's a good time. It's a really good time. Just like the movie. Let's get on with our thoughts and our review of Jurassic World Dominion. Are you ready for this, Alan?
I am. I have been looking forward to this.
I have too. Now, before we give our thoughts, we're going to do what we usually do, which is give you an overview of this movie, which goes a little like this. Jurassic World Dominion, released 2022, June 9th in Australia to be exact, PG-13. In Australia, that's an M, M15+. This goes for 2 hours and 26 minutes. So far, with only being out for a day, it's got a 6.2 out of 10 as IMDb rating. It is directed by Colin Trevorrow, which we had a laugh about that in the cinema.
Yes.
It was written by Emily Carmichael, Colin Trevorrow, Derek Connolly, and it stars Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, Laura Dern, and, of course, it also stars Sam Neill and Jeff Goldblum.
Wait, so does everyone in America have to wait to see this tomorrow?
tomorrow, maybe, man. Like, what's the time over there now? Maybe it's, I don't even know what the time is over there right now.
Yeah.
So, with that, we're going to get into our thoughts. And I am going to let ALANNIS take the floor like he always does. Alan,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts?
I enjoyed Locust Park. And that was a good time. I learned and had solidified to me that raptors have about the common loyalty of a house cat. Yeah, it was good. It was paced pretty well. I think the start it started getting a little bit draggy, but just as it started to feel that way, it started getting into it, which I really liked. Yeah, they had a good mix of, or probably the best mix of dinos that we've seen in any movie. I think there's a lot there.
There was a lot. There was
Yeah.
a lot in this movie.
But yeah, it was fairly well paced, and they didn't. It wasn't kind of just like cameos from the old cast. They were at a sizable role, which I really liked. And they kind of all built rapport with each other, like the old and the new. It was put together really well.
I agree, man. I agree. What did you think about the use of the practical dinosaurs compared to CGI? Like, you could tell in this movie that they went all out with practical puppets instead of just CGI. I mean, there was a lot of CGI, obviously, but there was also a lot of puppetry compared to previous installments, except for maybe the first, you'd want to say. But even this movie blows the first out of sort of what they do with practical effects. What did you think about that?
I think it worked well. It practical always gives that more kind of realistic look, and I think it really shone. Like, the dinosaurs were looking consistently just good this movie. There was no real point where I'm like, that's not going to age well. I mean, 5 years time, I might change my mind, but I can't see it happening. I think this is going to hold up just like the first one for the effects and everything like that.
Definitely. And I mean, what did you think about the direction they chose to take this movie in?
It was good because they kind of, and what I've really liked with this new trilogy is they've tried to do different things and introduce different things while respecting the path beforehand. And like the first one the second of the Jurassic Worlds kind of had the almost horror feel with the whatever it is. The big bad raptor dino in that one, where it's kind of almost like a lurky horror kind of thing through the house. Hello. What did you think of it, Lucky?
She's just happy I'm home.
Yeah. Yes, dogs more loyal than raptors as well.
It definitely is. Sorry, man.
Yeah, they kind of took it in a different direction again, sort of, as well, which I liked. They didn't keep it trying to follow the same formula.
Yeah, definitely, man. Which is what I found refreshing too, because people say they're just retreading water with Jurassic Park movies and like, and just trying to lick my face. And that Jurassic World is too much of the same movie, as the original, but it definitely it definitely wasn't. It was something refreshing to the franchise, which I really appreciated.
Yeah.
She's getting really silly now. All right, so yeah, I mean, I felt that this was going to do exactly what it was going to do for me, which I needed it to do for me. Which I was a big person that was like, what the fuck at the end of the second movie in this in the World franchise. I was like, what are they doing? And I feel like it's the same thing with Halloween Kills. We need that final part for people to go, oh, I enjoyed that second part, and that's exactly what this movie did for me, which was make me realize the second part was just a giant setup for this movie. You know what I mean? So they kind of go hand in hand. And I also agree with you that I've seen a lot of people say that the story is very shallow, that the actors don't have a lot of growth throughout the movie or whatever. But and people are saying this should have been a two-parter because of how big and how drastic they lifted the scale of the sort of movie up, but I almost feel like that was what they did with the other parts of the movie. It is a 3-parter, and yeah, while they could have done more with this and maybe made it 2 parts, at the same time, I do feel like they did a good job of not over bloating it to the point that it was like so much coming at you at once. I still felt like, even though it felt like 2 different movies with like Ali and Grant, like Dr. Grant and Jeff Goldblum, their story, and Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris Pratt and their story, even though they were very separate at the start, it wasn't like they were so separate that everything was like, whoa, what's going on? Like, who are these people? How does this connect? You know, like,
Yeah.
It wasn't a hard story to wrap your head around, which I really appreciated, because when it comes to like a 3rd part in a movie series, you can almost feel like, oh, they're just throwing everything at me and like, what's going on here? You know, that happens quite a lot of the time. And I don't feel like that happened with this film. I don't know if you agree with that.
No, I agree. It interwove itself really well, and they didn't make it too convoluted or anything like that. It made sense, and I think a 2-parter for this would have made it too long. I think I would have gotten bored by the end of the 2nd part, unless they added a whole bunch more. I don't think it would have fleshed out for another movie.
Oh, definitely. And what did you think about, like, what was some of your favorite moments in this? I mean, okay, just for the audience's sake, we'll let them know what we're doing with this review, which is we're going to talk about this movie pretty generalized at the start. We're going to give you a spoiler-free portion of the review so you can check out this review and kind of get an idea of where we sit with it at the start, but we're going to dive deeper into plot points and stuff at a certain point, which we will let you know at that point when we were getting into spoiler territory, so that you can choose at your will if you want to keep listening or not listening when we get to that point. So without spoilers, without anything, what were some of your favorite parts in this movie?
I think probably my most favorite parts were just some of the dinosaurs they included that they hadn't since the first one, like the Dilophosaur. Everyone knows that, and the ones in the tunnels. The kind of 4-legged carnivores. I think they were meant to be Dimetrodons, which have always been a dinosaur I've kind of dug, like with the big crest and that. And it was cool seeing them. But yeah, I think it's hard to pick a really standout point because it all just kind of was put together really well. I think that the action and that was probably given as my favorite bits.
And boy, was this movie action-packed. This movie was action-packed. Like, for anyone, like, wondering if this movie is going to be entertaining, like, even if you're not a fan of the story, even if you're not a fan of what's going on in the background sort of thing, like, this is a spectacle of a movie, and it is one that lives up to the spectacle. It's not like back in the day with Jurassic Park 3 where CGI was thrown in just for the sake of it. It was like this. What they would decided, if we're going to go all out with this movie, we're going to fucking go all out, and they certainly did with this movie. And there was not really a part where I thought it was not fun. Like as ALANNIS says, like towards the end of the movie, maybe it feels like it's dragging in certain areas, but it always kind of kicks back with something just as when you think it's not, and like it's slowing up, it then kicks in with something really good. I mean, there was some really cool like moments. Like as I was saying to ALANNIS, one of my favorite moments in it, which you can see in the trailer, is a part where Bryce Dallas Howard is sneaking away from a giant dinosaur that's like covered in feathers in the middle of a forest, and the way she's sneaking through the water and like coming towards the camera, the way it was shot, the way it feels, the colors of the forest, it almost had like a fantasy Harry Potter feel to this monster, like this dinosaur, and the way it was like shot in this beautiful forest with like a Jurassic World Park horror vibe to it. Is that what you kind of felt while watching parts like that?
Yeah, definitely.
And I really also liked the part where they were, you know, it's another part in the trailer when they were on the ice with the swimming dinosaur. Like that dinosaur that just surprised everybody, just jumped under the fucking ice. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I mean, some of these parts in the movie were just awesome, and I don't think that we've seen some of the visionary that we've seen in this movie we've ever seen before in a Jurassic Park film, including the first. Would you agree with that, ALANNIS?
Absolutely, yeah. They did a lot of things that they hadn't before, I think. Yeah,
It was awesome. And with that, what do you think about how the actors handled it?
it was good. I think yeah, they're all fairly convincing. There's no one that really. I didn't find anyone obnoxious in it. I think the only one that was I guess dinosaur dealer chick. She was a little bit cliche. It's just like you're poured directly into a mold here, or that hot evil chick. But other than that, and even though that's me kind of picking at straws there. But yeah, it was a solid effort. I think there was no Tia Leone moments or anything like that.
There definitely wasn't. And look, I've read a few reviews. I've watched a few reviews where people are saying this is the worst Jurassic Park in the franchise. And I can safely tell everybody that's watching this, even though art is subjective and not everyone's opinion is going to be the same, I can safely say that 90% of you seeing this movie will fucking agree that this movie is hands down better than Jurassic Park 3. Hands down.
Yeah, definitely.
And as I said, it's not boring at all. It's great through the whole way through.
And it has dialogue.
It has a lot of dialogue. So what did you think about the legacy characters? I found it strange that Jeff Goldblum was sort of the one that was missing mainly from this movie.
Yeah, I thought he would be having more of a bigger role, because he kind of led into it in the last movie with him having his cameo. But there was maybe even more Sam Neill and I don't know her name off the top of my head than the newer characters. Like
Laura Dern.
They kind of were really stealing the show, which I was surprised with. I didn't think that was going to happen. Yeah,
well, it was good seeing them back, definitely. It was a little less satisfying seeing Alan Grant back just because we've seen him in Jurassic Park 3. I think had he not been in Jurassic Park 3, it would have been an even bigger deal having him back in the fold, you know what I mean? But
yeah.
I almost feel like we got him for half the series, basically, if you think about it. We've had him for 3 movies now. There's 6 movies. 6 movies in the franchise. So we got him for half the franchise, where we only got Laura Dern in, what, 1? Oh, 2.
Yeah.
2.
Oh, she's kind of in 3, but not really.
Kind of. I mean, but yeah. What did you think about bringing back characters from Jurassic World as well? Like, we brought back the assistant raptor tamer.
I'm glad we saw him. It was. Oh, that's one that it was a bit kind of. Oh, come on. The head biologist dude who's made a mistake he regrets again.
Henry, man, I can't believe they saved that guy's ass at the end of it too. Like, I know he was going to fix the crops or whatever, like fix the, whatever he wanted to do, but like, damn, that's kind of a spoiler, we're in spoiler territory.
Spoilers.
Hey, it's not, okay, there isn't that much of a spoiler when the Henry guy survives, okay? That's not really a spoiler. But like, it is kind of funny how he's in the trailer saying like, 1 second, hey, relax. She's seen a possum outside. It is kind of funny when he's like saying like, we need to correct this mistake that we've done. And it's like, you mean you're the one that's done every mistake in every movie?
One mistake?
You're only upset about one choice you've made this whole time. And look at all these people who have died. You know what I mean? Like, but it was weird because you were like, why is this guy still around? And then by the end of the movie, that last shot of him in the field, you're kind of like, oh, he's not that bad. I don't know if you felt that way too.
Yeah, it's like, oh, off he goes to make his 4th mistake.
Hey, relax.
Wait, raptors. That's what it is. That's what she's saying.
As the Americans say, emus. Hey, relax. Shush. So, with that, how would you say the characters that they brought back from the World movies? It was kind of weird having the two from Fallen Kingdom come back, but they were like at the start of the movie very quick. With Claire at the start, what did you think about the performances? Is it Will Smith's son?
Yeah, I think so.
And what is the other chick? The other chick, she was in Jurassic World. So it's I'm having a look now. We've got Justice Smith and I can't find the other. Oh, I can't find the other girl. What did you think about them? Because I almost felt like they came back because they were in the second one, but they didn't have enough for them to do in the third one. So it was like a sort of, oh, this is what Claire's up to. Forget about it.
Yeah, I think that's it. And they were just kind of was just like, hey, we're here because we can say we were now here.
Exactly. And what I'm still confused about is how they want to answer the question of how dinosaurs spread so hectically throughout the world, because it still doesn't make sense to me that this InGen or whoever shipped them over in Fallen Kingdom and these dinosaurs have now taken over the Earth along with humans. Did you find the explanation to be very thin with that?
Yeah, I do. And how? Yeah, and it. Yeah, pretty much. I think you summed that up pretty well there. And if it is a problem, can't the world kind of come together and fix this problem and get them all to this sanctuary area? Maybe at first without some evil corporation going, dinosaurs for us, we'll keep them safe, nothing dodgy. Like,
it's strange. And what did you think about how the movie started with the sort of news reports and things like that? I thought it was
interesting.
I thought it was an odd choice to make. It almost was like this is what you've been missing, like wrap it up in quick sort of explanation as quick as possible, like
some things have happened.
And this is what you've missed out on. So I do like how they were like, look, we're going to go all out with this movie, and make dinosaurs like roam the earth with humans, but it still is a very weak excuse of how these dinosaurs spread through like different countries. Like it's not just America, like they're in Malta. You know what I mean?
I think as well the ending, it as I said to you in the cinema, there's more explanation, but it still felt like it was the circle point. Like,
definitely. And with that, I think we should get into some spoiler area. What do you say?
Yes.
So, if you haven't seen the movie and you want to get spoiled now that the review's up, or if you have seen the movie and you want to hear our thoughts on some of the spoilery parts, this is it. So you better back out now if you don't want to hear this fucking next part.
This is a spoiler alert.
This is alert. So, with spoilers, this movie does end exactly the way the second movie ends.
Yeah, and it lends itself to like, this is the final one, but I don't think this is the final one, man.
That's what I was laughing about with you in the theater, because we were like, first of all, I was like, okay, so when the locusts come out and they're all on fire and they start spreading the fire all over this forest, like sanctuary where these dinosaurs have been living, I thought, oh, so this is how all the dinosaurs are pretty much going to die off. And then I was like, wait, what about all the dinosaurs in Malta? And what about the big dinosaur that they were like with the flare trying to guide through the snow? And like all these like, and blue in America, you know what I mean? Like there's like dinosaurs everywhere. So then I was like, well, this can't be the explanation of the dinosaurs dying out again because of a fucking fire plague of locusts. So I thought, okay, well, this is maybe how we're going to get an answer of the dinosaurs going extinct again. And humans reclaiming the Earth. But no, at the end, we just got the exact same thing we got in the second one, which was we're going to have dinosaurs living amongst us, and we just have to learn to coexist. And I found that kind of weird because while they do say that this is the last Jurassic Park movie, it leaves it very open-ended for the last Jurassic Park movie. You know what I mean? Like, there is definitely room to make a new franchise with new people at the helm. It's not a dead, like, it's not a nail in the coffin ending, you know, which is what I think people are thinking they're going to see when they hear that this is the big final conclusion to the Jurassic Park / World franchise. I think people are going to expect a much more nail in the coffin ending.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're going to, I think that's one thing that will let people down is that, yeah, this is definitely an ending they could continue on with. Like, I could write a movie continuing on from this.
How you could conclude it for the next movie is an asteroid comes and it splits our world and the dinosaurs' world into 2 dimensions.
And then there are these 2 plumbers in Brooklyn named Mario and Luigi Mario.
So I was really surprised that this has actually all been a prequel to the Super Mario Brothers movie.
I know, right? Fuck me. So, let's talk about some of the things maybe that we didn't like in the movie. What were some of the things that you didn't like, Alan? Because I know there was one part that me and you both chuckled at together, which was the first shot we got of the everyday bad dude with the tattoo on his neck or whatever. And then you just started giggling, dude, because it was just the most cliche bad guy. So that was some of my points to what I didn't like about this movie was a lot of the cliche sort of feeling stuff. What about you?
Yeah, I think that pretty much the cliche bad guy, and the dinosaur sales chick, sales peddler, whatever she was, bounty hunter, poacher.
You call dinosaur sales?
I think they were the main things, and also missing the opportunity for that ringtone. Like there was a clear window.
Me and ALANNIS were sitting in the cinema, and I said to him, this would be the perfect movie for them to have a throwback to the annoying ringtone in Jurassic Park 3. And at one point, the phone rings and Justice Smith picks up the phone, and we were like, you missed out on the perfect time to use the ringtone. And I feel like there could have been a few more like callbacks to like, I mean, you did say it in the cinema though, that this movie had a lot of foreshadowing.
Yeah, like the main bad guy when he's leaving and bailing, he finds the can that Dennis Nedry transported the DNA with, which I also really liked that they this was what it was going to, but that kind of foreshadowed that he was going to get murdered by the Dilophosaurs. So yeah,
there's some interesting choices made though, man. Like, it's cool that that's what they had with the can and everything, but like, okay, no, I get it. So in the first movie, they would have found the can near the Jeep that was tied up with Dennis Nedry's body in there. Because I was about to say, like, who fucking went and picked up this can and was like...
Yeah, I didn't think of that.
Because it does roll down the creek, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
So how the fuck did they know that, you know what I mean? Like...
Yeah.
That was a little weird. And the other thing that we thought about in the movie was how we got the prelude, like, 6 months ago that showed before Fast and the Furious or whatever in IMAX cinemas. And it started off with, like, dinosaurs, like, looking like 65 million years ago or whatever. And then it, like, cut to, like, now times and the dinosaurs going through the drive-thru and shit. Like, I was like, isn't this, like, part of the movie? And we never got any of, like, that leading into it. So it's almost like we got an extra 7 minutes or whatever that little clip was on top. And I would have really liked to see that incorporated in to this movie, but we didn't get that. So what did you think about that too?
I think it's like, it feels like something that may have hit the cutting room floor, but at the same time, especially the drive-in with the T-Rex, that's a big thing to cut out. Like, that would have cost a lot and taken a lot of time. That's a big thing to cut out and put on the cutting room floor. Like, especially completely rendered and completely good. Like, normally that kind of stuff you see on the DVD and it'll be like not fully rendered and look like crap. But to get it up to scratch and then just not have it in there, that's a big thing.
It definitely is. It definitely is. And yeah, I think we should definitely look into this fucking shaving cream can a little deeper, because I don't know how someone was like, "Oh, look what I found."
Maybe
Dennis
the
Leary
Rock
shaving.
brought it back for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good having those dinosaurs back. What did you think about the ending confrontation with the dinosaurs?
I didn't mind it. I want to know what the fuck that blady finger dinosaur is.
Yeah,
Or if that's
like,
made up.
I think
or
it's from the
what it is.
Cretaceous period. Yeah, so it's not really. It's not like a dinosaur. It's like a. It would say. I think it. Would it be like classified sort of like a. I don't even know, man. Like. It's a weird looking dinosaur. That's all I can fucking say.
Yeah, I liked it though, and I think I like the double team between that and the T-Rex versus have you say it Gigantanosaurus,
Whatever it is.
that one,
Yeah.
the big one.
Yep. That one. The big one. Yeah.
I like that. It's kind of. Yeah, it was a cool action scene in general, I think.
That was a weird looking fucking dinosaur when I seen
Yeah.
that.
And the other interesting thing I found is, from what I can tell what they know of Velociraptors now, they're actually how the feathered dinosaur looked. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that feathered dinosaur was meant to be, like the little one, the water one.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah.
And the other thing that this movie does really well is make you feel bad for cute dinosaurs. Baby cute dinosaurs. I felt terrible for those Triceratops babies. They were all chained up and shit. And they make those dinosaurs look so fucking cute, man. And then you think about it and you're like, God, these dinosaurs are assholes, or most of them anyway. You know what I mean? Like, did you think there were any parts that were like, because you got to say, anyone that goes into this movie expecting a down-to-earth Jurassic Park movie, like, forget it. I would say that this is like the equivalent of like a Fast and Furious Jurassic Park movie. How would you feel about that sort of?
Yeah, I think that's a fair call. I also think it's yeah, I think that's the best way to put it.
it's a very, like, look, if you were still taking Jurassic World seriously after the second one, like, this movie's probably not going to be what you want, because it is really outlandish and silly. But that's kind of why I loved it and I embraced what this movie did and what it is, because it is just a fun movie. It was so much fun. Like, I'm excited to see it again. I definitely could watch it again pretty close to like now, you know? So that's odd for me, considering when I usually come out of movies, I'm like, oh, not for a while again, like the Batman, you know? Oh, not for a while again, I think.
I still don't think I'm ready to watch that movie again.
Me either. So let's basically just give it a roundup sum of what we thought, which is, how many stars would you give it, Alan, out of 5?
I would give this, like the others, I believe I gave them, well, at least the good ones, the first movie, the last two, I'll probably say all around probably about a 4. Not the perfect movie, but it was solid.
It definitely was. I would agree with you, and I would give it 4.5.
And kind of discussing it as well, I think I may have also changed my ranking.
Yeah?
Kind of reflecting the way we have. So,
all right. Well, what? Okay. So what do we do then in this situation? Because I've already made the graph. So should we bring up what the what?
You will bring up what it was, and I'll explain what I've changed.
All right. So what we're going to do this time is we're going to come into trivia after our ranking, just because this is the way the show's kind of flowed. So with that, let's bring up our current rankings for the movies. All right, you ready? We're unveiling it. That is the current situation.
I am going to throw a hand grenade into a minefield and shift Jurassic World Dominion to my favorite, number 1.
Whoa! Whoa! Stop the presses! Jesus. Okay, I'm making the move, man. Are you sure you want to put this into stone?
It is done. Lock it in, Eddie.
All right. Well, give me a second to bring up the final tally for this series. Wow, I'm surprised, man.
Yeah. I was kind of thinking about it as we were discussing, and I'm like, no, this just really satisfied me, the dino nerd in me. And,
So,
yeah.
let's bring up the final tally for this Jurassic World ranked and reviewed series. And that is where we have our tally. Is that correct?
That is correct. This is probably our closest one as well.
It really is. Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Exciting.
Man. Oh, wait. I think we got it a little bit wrong here. I think I got it a little bit wrong. Because you would put Jurassic World before Jurassic Park, yeah?
Yes, you're right.
Yes. So
That's sneaky Jurassic Park trying to get all the credit again.
Yeah,
this is why you're third original Jurassic Park. This is why you're third.
Wow, like, you know how many people are going to be fucking pissed, man?
Yeah.
People are going to be like, how dare you guys talk bad of Jurassic Park, the original one, man? Like, we're not talking bad of it. That's a fucking masterpiece of a movie. But out of pure enjoyment and pure, like, rewatchability, I would put the new one above that. Definitely.
I think the way I see it is it's a great movie and it's necessary there to start it all. But these newer ones just are that little bit higher up there.
And there we have it.
Yeah.
That is the final ranking of our Jurassic World ranked and reviewed series. You know what? I feel really bad because I almost want to change my ranking.
Let's do it.
All right, I'm doing it. Fuck yes. I'm changing my ranking. Oh no. Is this really going to happen? Is this really going to happen, Alan? Are you already feeling what's going to happen? Here we go.
I've got a bit of a feeling. Oh, I did hear a good joke as well. So, what did the mother Velociraptor say to what did Blue actually translated say right after she lost her baby?
What?
Where's my baby?
Well,
and here we are.
Look at that, would ya?
This is also a record set because this is our first identical rankings.
It is. I can't believe it, man, because there's 6 movies. That's a lot of, like, agreeing we have right there, you know?
Yeah.
So there you have it.
Nothing like this for Batman. It already isn't.
It already isn't. Our rankings are completely different for Batman. So with that, before we end the show, let's get into some quick trivia. I can't believe that. First time we've ever had a tie in this whole series. So, Chris Pratt was so psyched about having Jeff Goldblum, Laura Dern, and Sam Neill participate in Jurassic World 3, saying, just in case you hadn't seen the news, it's finally happening. Get ready for what is absolutely, without a doubt, going to be the biggest, baddest, and best movie of the franchise. Agreed. These are all very, like, irrelevant now, these trivia notes, because they're all full up from, like, pre-production, you know? When Jeff Goldblum found out he was going to be in Jurassic World 3 with his 2 co-stars from the original film, he wrote on Instagram about Colin Trevorrow, a line he said in the original, "You did it, you crazy son of a bitch, you did it." He also added, "Happy as a Plasmosaurus to be reunited with my brilliant co-stars from the original Jurassic Park, Laura Dern and Sam Neill, for the next installment of Jurassic World, coming soon." Chris Pratt stated he was shocked when he heard the movie's pitch When I heard the pitch, I was blown away. I can't believe we're going to make this movie, he shared with MTV News. I can't believe they found a way to deliver on the promise on the end of Fallen Kingdom. Wait, what? The island is blown up? The animals are out? We can't put them back in the box? What are we going to do? How is not only the dinosaurs, but this technology moving forward going to affect the planet? And we jump forward and it's like, oh, right. Oh, damn. Director Colin Trevorrow has been working his butt off on it. And it's going to be pretty epic. And we will end this with two more. Certain scenes and ideas regarding the integration of dinosaurs into the world were ultimately removed from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom's script to be saved for the third film. Trevorrow said about the realism of the film story, I think any kind of global acceptance that dinosaurs are just around doesn't feel real to me, because even now when you think of animals, when was the last time you saw a tiger walking down the street? We know there are tigers. We know they're out there. But to me, it's very important that we keep this grounded in the context of our relationship with wild animals today. Howard stated that she wanted the film to blow your mind in terms of being like, whoa, this is where the technology can go. This is what the world could really turn into if this technology fell into the wrong hands. So basically seeing a world of dinosaurs everywhere. And with that, we'll end on one final bit of trivia. Jurassic World Dominion will be released on June 10th, 2022, just one day before the date when Jurassic Park 1993 was released on June 11th, 1993, and just 2 days before the date when Jurassic World 2015 was released on June 12th, 2015.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, so that's basically a wrap on our Jurassic World ranked and reviewed series. How do you think that went, Alan?
I think it went well, and I think in about 5 years we're going to be adding to this with another Jurassic movie.
I think I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you that we haven't seen the end of the dinosaurs, and let's just be happy that the T-Rex was still standing at the end of this movie, because when it looked like it wasn't going to still be standing, I was a little bit pissed off. As long as that T-Rex is standing, and those velociraptors are still being velociraptors, we're going to get another Jurassic Park movie, and I know we will.
Yes.
So.
And that sea dinosaur.
Yes. The sea dinosaur. So, that is Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, ranked and reviewed, done. We hope you enjoyed it. And as of next week, we're heading back to Gotham City to get back into our what?
Because we're vengeance.
We're vengeance. And we're going to get back into our Batman ranked and reviewed series, starting off with Batman Begins and the Dark Knight trilogy, to add on to our already growing Batman ranked and reviewed series list. If you haven't gone and checked those episodes out, make sure you do before next week's episode. We've done Batman, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and Batman and Robin. So go check those out.
They're ice to see.
Fuck me. And if you haven't already, please go check out our Super Mario Brothers review, which we put up last night. It's a good time.
The cosplay, we spared no expense as well.
We spared no expense. Just like this as what's his name said in this movie?
Yes. Spared no expenses. I didn't even realize I did that then. There you go.
Everything connects, man. Everything connects.
Yeah, like this in Mario.
Exactly. The prequel to Mario. As always, I'm your host, TOMYE West. And joining me as always has been my co-host, ALANNIS Maximus. Please make sure you subscribe, you like, you share, you leave a comment. Remember, we love you for it. We think you're great. And, Alan, when does this episode end?
No.